G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Friday the 20th of July 2018 and the time here is 11 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well, once again, lots of great comments for the opt-out video yesterday. I'm not going to show any of those today because there's something else that I want to show everybody, which is actually pretty crucial to what's going on in the world, and it's as regards to China, but it's actually not about the South China Sea, as you're going to see. If you remember, I've said recently many times that China is a nefarious government. One, they're communist. Two, they're dictators. They've elected this Xi Jinping is now president for life, which Trump joked about recently. So he's made himself a king in a communist party. How do you do that? I don't know. They've got billions living on the poverty line, or below the poverty line. Millions of people, sorry, not billions. They have a massive, and I mean a massive financial debt burden. And you can forget about how much gold they've got and everything else. Their debt burden makes the American debt burden of 21 trillion look like a walk in the park. That's how bad it is. They've built city after city after city with no one in them because they don't want the system to collapse. The whole thing is just one big farce. They're using tremendous amounts of money to arm themselves, build planes, military aircraft, military ships, you name it, they're doing it. And this includes obviously the South China Sea islands. So this, what I'm going to show you in a minute, ties in to that. But first I want to show you something that all Australians will be happy about. But remember, I did say recently that the big snake in the grass is Turkey. Turkey has turned, whether we like to believe it or not, into a radical Muslim enclave, and it will soon be overrun by radical Muslims, and you will have an influx of people trying to get out of Turkey very soon. The country is becoming more and more hardline every single day under this Erdogan, who is an absolute Richard Cranium at best. He's a thief, a crook, and a bloody massive manipulator of that region because of the Baltic, the Phosphorus Strait. Now, I've always said that if it always came down to it, Russia would just automatically... basically, it's the only way for Russia to get into the ocean from there. So if they pulled the pin and Turkey said, well, you ain't going there, then yeah, you'd soon see who was the bigger power. Let's put it that way, because Russia under no circumstances will let that happen. But something happened. There's two things that happened yesterday. One, the American government asked for a pastor to be released from prison, and they just got a flat no. Not even, oh, we might. It was just a flat no. And apparently all this guy was doing was walking around promoting Christianity. And he got jailed for, 10 years or something stupid. And Trump asked for him to be released yesterday, spoke to the thing, he said, no, he's a spy. So I'm guessing that didn't go down too well, being a NATO member, etc. But remember, Erdogan is a hard left radical. Anyone that can promote their own coup and then kill everybody that was involved in it is a hard left radical. And the second thing was here in Australia, we've been trying to get this. His name's Prakash. He's an absolute shitbag, and why we would want to extradite him back here to Australia, I have no friggin' idea at all, because the man does not even deserve to be A, called Australian, and two, set foot in Australia ever again, because he's an absolute shitbag. And I'm going to show you that now. It was in the ABC today. Well, okay, folks, this is from today's ABC in Australia. Turkish court rejects request to extradite Australian ISIS terrorist Prakash. A Turkish court rejects Australia's request to extradite notorious Islamic State terrorist Neil Prakash in a shocking ruling overnight that could see him released from jail unless Turkey decides to prosecute him. Wow. Why would you want to bring a shitbag like that back to Australia for anyway? You know, I can't even imagine in their warped friggin' minds in Canberra as to why they'd want to bring a shitbag like that back here, because all that's going to do is promote terrorism here in Australia and make a martyr out of him in prison. Which, by the way, in case you're wondering, our prisons aren't like the Australian prisons here. The Muslims get the shit beaten out of them in prison. It's pretty heavy. It's not like the British system. So he would be a dead man walking in an Australian prison, more or less, if he ever got put in Australian prison. So thank God he's not coming back. But the thing there is that Turkey's gone. Good on you, mate. Well done for fighting for ISIS. There's your free pass. Do not go to jail. Do not go, or go past go and do not go to jail. Thanks very much. But like I said, personally, if he knocked on my front door, I would actually slam his head in the door while I was trying to close it. Yeah, I've no love lost for any of these idiots. And, you know, you wonder why Sweden's got so many problems with these people, for want of a better term. Okay, that's the first bit. I'm going to show you this thing about China now, and you'll understand why it's so relevant. Okay, folks, here's the article here. Now, I've said for a long time that China is a very nefarious country, regardless of what they're doing around the world. They're trying to play big dog to being a little dog syndrome. Now, this article here, hang on, that article is an extremely important article for all Australians and anyone in the South Pacific to actually read. I applaud the ABC for actually getting something right for once. It's a nondescript article, but they've done something incredible in the article, which is, one, confront the issue of China and the debt, mountains of debt that these small little countries have actually taken on now through China, which have, you know, as I said recently, Australia's just started to slip their foot in there and say, well, hang on guys, you guys are doing this to, you know, be nefarious at best. But it's staggering how much money they've actually given all these countries. And don't forget, some of these countries, you know, they're a little blip in the ocean, literally. They haven't got any economies as such. And just remember that the last 2 years, they've had massive hurricanes, which we call cyclones here in Australia, fly through them and rip apart every part of the islands that you can think of. So, as I said, if you didn't pay attention to the article, you just give it very blasé thought patterns, really, as you do with most of these articles. But if you actually open the article and start reading it, it soon tells you that there's no way that Tonga can pay back their debt to China. And as a matter of fact, there's no way any of these countries can pay back their debt to China. Even thinking that they could possibly do it is a misnomer. They're just not going to be able to do it. The debt's too big, and they can't physically pay it. It's impossible. So I don't know why they got these loans in the first place, but you know, there's obviously a lot of corruption going on. But let's look at the article. I've actually left it on the live link here, which may cause me a few problems, but I wanted you to see what it is in the link that I want you to go on. So I'm going to do that now. Tonga to start paying back controversial Chinese loan described by some as debt trap diplomacy. Well, in actual fact, when you're reading the actual sub-article in the news section, it says the actual heading is, well, you can't say we didn't tell you so. Now, sorry folks. Now, the thing here is that if you keep going down, and this cracked me up a bit, China's debt trap diplomacy. It's not diplomacy, it's just a debt trap. Now, this article here, this one that I'm showing you here, please go on this, and there's two reasons why I want you to do this. One, so you understand what's going on, and two, so that you can actually see something staggering about Timor-Leste. And for those who don't know where that is, it's just above the tip of Australia. It's actually quite shocking. So I'm going to go on this now, if I can. Right, so you just click the Explore button. Ta-da! Now this gives you, this is actually brilliant. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. Now this gives you a breakdown of all the countries and how much debt they're in to China. Now here's Timor-Leste just here. Now the Timor-Leste part used to be Indonesian, but with Australia's help they gained independence. So this is it here. It's actually a tiny little island just in here. Now the staggering thing about this is just how much money, because they've got oil. Everybody knows that. Where's this thing going on? So here's Timor-Leste, here's the regions, right? China, Australia, blah, blah, blah. So let me go down here. 1 second, I'll get it up for you. Okay, folks, back again. Right, now, you see this little button, or little thing down here in the right-hand corner called More Info. If you go on that and click on that, it'll actually bring up more info for you. But what I wanted to show you guys was something really, really interesting. And that is how much money Australia is actually throwing away at countries in our corner of the world. Now, Timor-Leste, as I said, is just here. Now, we're giving them $798 million. So we're giving them near on $1 billion. Now, you see all the little blips? That's the white one is Australia's contribution, the red one is China's. So if you've noticed that just about every time Australia gives someone money, the Chinese give someone else just in the same amount, if not more. Except for Timor-Leste, which was interesting. But Australia's giving Timor-Leste nearly $1 billion each year. And guys, some of these countries are just getting absolute buckets of money. You know, while we're talking about our farmers getting absolutely shafted up the rear end by banks, etc., and our government, we could actually pay for every single farm in Australia with the money that we're giving to these islands in the Southwest Pacific. And the rhetoric from Canberra is now that China's stepping in, they're going to even up the ante even more. So your money, yours and my taxpayer money, is being flitted away overseas to people that A, aren't Australians, and B, couldn't give a shit if our country stayed above water or not. Let's be honest. And the worrying thing there is Australia's going to get into this monetary financial aid war with China to try and strengthen its position. It's absolutely staggering. I'll show you the other section. Hang on. So this is, you click the button called More Info on the right hand side, and this is what comes up, Regional Snapshot. Now, I can't speak for all Australians, but I would probably guess that there would be absolute outrage that 6 billion of our taxpayers' money is being flitted away to these islands that we don't really give two shits about, and don't give two shits about us. Look, how can a country like New Zealand, it's got 3 million people, give away $1 billion? This is US dollars, folks. This is US dollars. So how come we're giving countries for free? Well, we don't get anything back from this. $6 billion. You know how many veterans that could house? How many poor people we could build houses for? How many people we could feed starving kids that go to school with no food? And talking of which, we could build, 100,000 schools with $1 billion. You know what I mean? We could put shoes on kids' feet for free. We could actually give them free dental, free medical. $6 billion, folks. Even $1 billion is way too much. This is taxpayers' money that's just going... And the only respect the Australian taxpayers get from the government in regards to this is, fuck you. Don't tell us what to do. Well, and they wonder why people like me, people like everyone else, are absolutely fed up with this shit. Now, if you've been watching my show for a while now, you know that we are in massive debt. Massive debt. So how the fuck can we continue to keep doing stuff like that? Excuse my French. Even though I don't speak French, but there you go. It's farcical at best, it's ridiculous at worst, and it is infuriating at absolute maximum. We'd be better off sending ships out there, putting them on the ships, getting them to Australia and living in Australia. It would be cheaper. It would actually be cheaper than doing what we're doing, which is just... And let's all remember that if it says 6 billion, double that, because that's the real number. All the other little bits and pieces that they hide from everybody. So it's about $12 billion. Well, let's just put a round figure on it. $20 billion of our money, our taxpayers' money, is going flitted away. And I can guarantee you there's not one person on any of those islands that is standing there looking towards Australia and going, thank you. Not fucking one. And they wonder why people like me are doing videos like this, so I can prepare people for what's coming. We're nearly $1 trillion down the ticker, or the shitter, and they're giving away $6 billion each year. So $20 billion, sorry, I had to double it, didn't I? And you wonder why I'm angry and pissed off. You know, how many prosthetic legs, and you just think about all the things that we could fix with that money. Get people off hard drugs. Anything is better than just pissing it up a wall in countries that don't give two shits about us. Anyway, I'll leave the link on the description box. You can have a look for it yourself. Okay, folks, verse of the day. So, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Let me read that again, because that's pretty important. So, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. With everything that's going on, that's a pretty good thought, to be honest with you. And finally, as always, the Lord's Prayer. I had someone write into me the other day and said, you say all these things and then you say the Lord's Prayer at the end. Well, a little bit hypocritical perhaps, but I know what I've been told to do and I'm doing what I'm doing. So I understand that perhaps some of my words can be taken out of context, but I actually just want, sorry, I'll come on in. I just want Australia to be unified, and I want Australia to actually reach its full potential. Unfortunately, as I said before, as a grown man, I've been forced over the last couple of years to not be able to say anything at all. And it's part of the reason why, in my honest opinion, that mental health issues amongst men is actually going through the roof, because they just can't tell you what they want to tell you. Because you're either a racist, a rapist, a bigot, homophobe, Islamophobe. No, I'm just friggin' honest. Anyway, let's go to the Lord's Prayer and ask for forgiveness, I guess. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. All right, folks, prep out.